people don't want to sell because Bitcoin's been awfully good. And our forecast right now, the Bitcoin's around 105,000. Our forecast for 2030 is $1.5 million. The very important use case that many people do not discuss is how important Bitcoin and stablecoins, which are backed by U.S. treasuries, are going to become to the emerging markets. In emerging markets, many of them are at the whim of policymakers who show no discipline in fiscal or monetary policy. And so they're used to going through booms and busts and booms and bailed out by the IMF. And they need an insurance policy.
According to Cathie Wood, the globe is on the verge of a significant economic shift, with disruptive technologies setting the pace while inflation, debt, and innovation all rise. In a world that continues to rely on antiquated technologies, the CEO of ARK Invest claims that energy storage, blockchain, robots, and artificial intelligence are not merely fads, but rather engines of exponential growth. Cathie cautions in her most recent prediction that conventional economic models fail to recognize the deflationary potential of innovation. ARK sees a historic opportunity as technology drives down costs as productivity and profitability soar. But Wall Street braces for a recession. Wood thinks that a new era of money is coming, one in which digital platforms, AI, and Bitcoin will challenge the existing quo and change businesses. If you're intrigued by bold predictions and deep financial insights, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more engaging content. Thank you for your support and enjoy the video.
No, it would be like stocks, bonds, commodities, real estate. This is a new asset class, and most people will agree with that. We did a study on it. If this asset does not perform like other assets, in other words, it provides diversification for funds. And because it is behaving differently, institutions have to consider it. Because they're competing against each other. And if one puts it in, they all know they're competing against each other, so others have to consider it. And we believe that part of the opportunity has not been tapped. And just to put some numbers on this, right now, we're approaching 20 million Bitcoin outstanding.
Which means?
The number of Bitcoin that have been minted over time by Bitcoin miners.
So there's 21 million in total, right?
There will be, at the end of the minting process, 21 million. So we have only 1 million to go.
Yeah.
1 million would be, what is that? That would be $100 billion worth, a little more than that right now. Institutions really just started considering Bitcoin because the SEC gave the green light to Bitcoin with the approval of the spot Bitcoin ETF in January of last year. And it takes a while for institutions to do their research and commit. And so they're just now committing. And there's only $100 billion of new market cap that is going to be created, whereas they have trillions of dollars under management. And so we think there will be a lot of incremental demand, and to satisfy a lot of that demand, someone's going to have to sell.
Which means the price goes up.
Which, yeah, if people don't want to sell, because Bitcoin's been awfully good. And our forecast right now, the Bitcoin's around 105,000. Our forecast for 2030 is $1.5 million. The building blocks for that, the three biggest building blocks, are institutional, which has barely started, store of value or digital gold. Young people are much more comfortable with digital gold than gold. The very important use case that many people do not discuss is how important Bitcoin and stablecoins, which are backed by U.S. treasuries, are going to become to the emerging markets. In emerging markets, Many of them are at the whim of policymakers who show no discipline in fiscal or monetary policy. And so they're used to going through booms and busts and booms and bailed out by the IMF, and they need an insurance policy.
So if you're in Venezuela, you need a currency that's going to be stable.
Exactly. So stable coins are stable vis-a-vis the dollar. Bitcoin is more of an investment because it does appreciate over time. Now you go through, it's volatile, no question, and that's the first thing people have to know about it. But it is becoming less volatile as more and more investors hold it. It's a very big idea because it is a new asset class. It does represent a global monetary system, unlike any other digital asset out there. It is backed by the largest computer network in the world. The layer 1, which is the base layer, has not been hacked. Think about that. Since 2009, when it was released, not been hacked. How many systems can say that? And it is a technology. It is native to the internet. And again, digital assets, or any Bitcoin, Ether, Solana, all of them exist because they're vying to be the native currencies to the internet and to enable smart contracts and really transform the financial services industry.
According to Cathie Wood, Bitcoin is the cornerstone of a whole new international financial system that is unlike anything that has ever been. It hasn't changed since its debut in 2009 and is driven by the biggest and safest computer network in the world. Both Bitcoin and stablecoins backed by U.S. treasuries are becoming essential instruments for financial survival as more developing nations deal with economic volatility and bad fiscal policies. Bitcoin offers long-term growth, while stablecoins offer short-term stability. As more individuals hold it rather than trade it, its value keeps increasing over time and becomes less volatile. According to Cathie, the value of Bitcoin might increase by as much as 15 times in the next 5 years. She believes that Bitcoin is the most significant and safest digital asset available, and that it has the best chance of serving as the foundation for a new, decentralized financial future. To remain up to date on the most recent developments in Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and the digital economy, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and enable post notifications.
And do you believe, are you more bullish on the price potential of Bitcoin than Ethereum?
Yes, we think Bitcoin is the biggest idea. It serves the three revolutions. Global monetary system, they do not. New asset class, they are part of a new asset class, but Bitcoin's going to be the biggest. And new technology, it's the most secure blockchain technology out there.
What about all these others, Solana and all these other?
So Ether and Solana, so the big three are the big three, and we think they'll all be successful, all three of them. Bitcoin the most. We're very interested in stable coins, but that's just like cash. And there are millions of crypto assets out there. We think most of them die. According to our analysis, now this is our research, our analysis, no promises, we can't do that. But according to our research, the technologies around which we have centered our research and which have focused our investments, we believe, will go up more than tenfold in the next 5 to 10 years. And that's how much explosive growth we have ahead of us as these technologies converge and create incredible opportunities for investors. And, I'm hearing a lot of people, as they get into investing, of course, they have their day jobs. But once they have accrued enough, they're making choices about dialing down their day jobs and spending more time investing. You asked, what are some of the jobs of the future going to be? I think individual investors are going to be providing for themselves if they are investing on the right side of change. Learn what you're investing in, or learn why we've invested the way we have. That's what we do. If you look at what happened to the equity market when Trump was elected.
The stock market.
Yes, the stock market. It went crazy to the upside, as did our strategy. And why? The promise was deregulation, and that I think is underestimated, how important it is, because we're strangling in regulation. It's just, this is not our DNA. We got to get out from under this. Lower taxes, lower interest rates is what he wants, of course, and lower tariffs. What he didn't tell us was exactly how he was going to go about that process. And it has felt chaotic, and I've had to go out and explain what's going on, try to explain what's going on. And I have to tell you, it scared me silly to see what was going on, because I knew that businesses were paralyzed and that we could have a mess on our hands. And I certainly communicated through my channels. Art communicated through his channels. In fact, I think in one publication he said, "I have never been more scared in my career." And we were trying to really get into Trump's head. And I know President Trump listens to art, but he also listens to a lot of other people, one of whom was Peter Navarro, who seemed to have a hold on Trump when it came to tariffs. And yet, when I saw Treasury Secretary Bessent really push aside Navarro, and that could only happen with Trump, I knew we were going to be okay. I knew we were going to be okay. Because throughout all of this chaos, I think what he is trying to do is not only get tariffs on the U.S. down throughout the world, but maybe more important, get non-tariff trade barriers down. Like, for example, I didn't even know the UK would not accept our beef or ethanol. Well, now you're accepting our beef and ethanol. I don't know if people in the supermarkets will buy it, but anyway, but other countries, many more non-tariff trade barriers. And so he is just trying to bust that up, make it more visible. For example, Canada, I think they charged a 250% tariff on our milk. And one of President Trump's promises was to take care of the farmers. Okay, that's why you see the rhetoric around Canada. Now, do I agree with his style? I would never do it that way. I'd never do it that way. And it was unfathomable, for me, because he is sensitive to business, and he must have known that everything was going to stop.
Cathie Wood's vision is about knowing and preparing for the future, not just investing. She foresees a new financial and economic era built on the foundation of disruptive technologies like blockchain, energy storage, robots, and artificial intelligence, as well as Bitcoin. These advancements are coming together in ways that will fundamentally change the way we work, live, and invest, according to her research. According to her, these technologies might increase by more than tenfold in the next 5 to 10 years if ARK Invest is correct. Rapid expansion like this is a generational shift as well as an opportunity. Cathie advises investors to stay on what she refers to as the right side of change and to thoroughly comprehend the investments they are making rather than merely following the hype. She has observed an increasing number of people take charge of their financial destinies, deciding to invest in innovation full-time and lessening their dependency on traditional jobs. According to her, learning how to make autonomous and prudent investments may be the future of work rather than a job at all. She acknowledged that some of the policy goals, especially breaking down unnecessary trade barriers and reducing regulation, could unlock serious value. Despite moments of fear and uncertainty, she remained optimistic as long as sensible leadership prevailed behind the scenes. Her message to investors is clear. Educate yourself, think long-term, and align with the forces driving real innovation. Whether it's Bitcoin or breakthrough technologies, the next decade could be the most transformative of our lifetimes, and those who position themselves wisely today may be the ones shaping tomorrow's economy. Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and enable post notifications for future Bitcoin, macroeconomic, and digital asset content. And as always, happy investing.